Hello, and welcome to another episode of Breadcast Gaming Talk. If you remember at the end of my discussion video for Medal of Honor Heroes, that I said I'd be talking about more PSP games since I'm playing some of my favorites on an emulator as well as now having a physical one. Well, this is one of those games that I'm going to be talking about in this video, which I'm going to be talking about God of War Chains of Olympus. Back several years ago when a PlayStation 3 was the sole option for video games for me, the God of War series was not a series I spent all that much time with. I remember my brother buying the God of War Saga, the collection that included God of War 1 to 3, plus both of the PSP games, Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. I remember trying out the first God of War game and not being that particularly interested in them. Even when I did get my own PSP, which was before I had a PS3, I never got the God of War games either. Playing this game, and eventually its sequel, was more because I knew that they were two of the best games of the PSP era, so I needed to experience them for myself. Now, playing this on an emulator means that the graphics are going to be much better than how they were if played on an actual PSP, but for a game from 2008, this game has really good graphics and excellent animations and cutscenes as well. All the weather effects look great, the combat animations are fluid as the God of War console games are. Heck, even the music sounds great too, and I really do like the music in this game because sometimes the God of War theme just gets stuck in my head. So what about the story? Well, I have to admit that even after playing the game, I don't really know what the story was supposed to be. Kratos talks about and sees his daughter throughout the game and even reunites with her before the final boss fight of the game because he's told he can't be with her for some reason. Because it'll destroy humanity? I don't know. But then after the final boss, we get a dialogue where Kratos he just keeps fighting and then falls out of the sky and lands and two people take his gear and leave him there all asleep or something. I don't really get what the story of the game was, but you know what? Slashing people is fun, so who cares? This game has got a pretty cool upgrade system. Each weapon or gear you have can be upgraded at least once, sometimes even more. Each time you do, you get more combos you can unleash during combat, which is pretty cool, but sometimes I can't remember all the combos. And you gain upgrade stuff through these red orbs that you get for fighting and whatnot. Plus in combat, there's these little cool animations, like if you press the grab button, sometimes you'll like grab an enemy and like rip them in half, or stab them 1,000 times or something. It's really cool, honestly. Now, one of the negative things is that this game has a lot of those, God, I can never remember the name for them, but where it's like you'll be fighting an enemy and then like to finish it, it'll be like press square and then you wait, and then press triangle and then you wait a bit, and then press X, and then you'll do a finishing move and finish off whatever you're fighting. It has a lot of those, which the thing I hate about it is like if you mess it up, it'll change the order. So like if you're doing a sequence, and it's like it says press square, you press square, and then triangle, oh, you accidentally hit O. And then you think, like I did, you sit there and think, okay, I know I have to hit triangle next. And then it starts the combo, or the buttons again, and it's like, okay, now you're going to press square, and then instead of pressing triangle, we're going to say X. And you're like, no, or at least me. I'm like, no, I was prepared for triangle, so then I messed it up again. I really just... It's not the fact that they do these button things, but it's just the fact that they change them when you mess it up, and I always am like, whenever I mess it up, I'm like, hey, I know I need to hit this button the next time, and then they fucking change it, and I really hate when they do that. The other negative thing about the game is that sometimes the game likes to tell me... The other thing I don't like about the game is that sometimes the game will tell me that I can make Kratos do something but only when I do the thing. There's a moment in the puzzle where what I had to do was sidle across a ledge, but I didn't know that, so I kind of walked around the area a bit confused, and then when I decided to do that, the game was finally like, hey, you should use the thumbstick to sidle across the ledge, and I'm like, yeah, I figured that out now, game. Dang. Oh, and lastly, the final boss fight's kind of dumb, because they decided to do that Zelda thing of making the final boss a tennis match. Yes, the boss will shoot energy at you, and you have to use your sun shield, or whatever the hell it was called, to shoot the energy back at it, and sometimes you'll have to go back and forth 3 or so times before you can finish the final boss off, and it was really annoying to try to do that. But overall, this game is a ton of fun and definitely earns a spot of being one of the best games of the PSP era. It's got all the hallmarks of a console game for a handheld system and looks great on both an actual PSP and an emulator. God of War Chains of Olympus is a good and enjoyable game. That's all I have to say, so if you added the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.